Hey there, welcome back. I'm really glad you're here because September is shaping up to be another important month for Social Security. This time around, the updates aren't just about when your money lands, but also how the entire system is changing after hitting a pretty big milestone. Just last month in August, Social Security officially turned 90 years old. That's 9 decades of supporting Americans through retirement, disability, and survivor benefits. And now, as we roll into fall, the program is facing a mix of modernization, controversy, and real everyday issues that affect millions of families, maybe even yours. What makes this September so unique is that it kicks off right on Labor Day. Since that's a federal holiday, it actually throws off the normal schedule just a little bit. So some of you will be seeing your money even before the month technically begins, while others will get it in staggered waves across September. That means your exact date really matters this time. And on top of that, there's a major change happening with how benefits are delivered. Yes, I'm talking about the official phase-out of paper checks. There are also some encouraging signs from the Social Security Administration, like shorter wait times on the phone and smoother online services. But at the same time, there's still growing pressure on the trust fund, new rules about overpayments, and a few financial wins that many retirees have been waiting decades for. Before I go through the payment schedule, I want to ask you something. If you could change one thing about Social Security right now, what would it be? Bigger cost of living adjustments? Faster customer service? Maybe just clearer letters so you know exactly what's happening with your benefits. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read them all, and honestly, your experiences and ideas really help build this community. And if you find these updates useful, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss what's coming next. Now, let's walk through the September 2025 payment schedule. If you're on SSI, you'll notice something different. Instead of getting your payment on September 1st, which would normally be the case, you'll actually receive it on Friday, August 29th. That's because September 1st is Labor Day, and the SSA doesn't process payments on weekends or federal holidays. So you're not getting an extra check, it's just your September money arriving a little early. For those who started receiving benefits before May of 1997, or if you're someone who receives both Social Security and SSI, your regular Social Security payment will be deposited on Wednesday, September 3rd. That's the first wave. Everyone else's payment depends on their birthday. If your birthday falls between the 1st and the 10th, your check will arrive on Wednesday, September 10th. If your birthday is between the 11th and the 20th, your payment is scheduled for Wednesday, September 17th. And if you were born from the 21st through the end of the month, your check will hit on Wednesday, September 24th. So the bottom line is simple. SSI folks, circle August 29th. Longtime beneficiaries, mark September 3rd. And for everyone else, it depends on which 10-day block your birthday falls in. Knowing your exact date is important because missing it, even by a day, can create a lot of unnecessary stress when you're planning your bills or groceries around your deposit. Now, here's where things get really interesting this month. Starting September 30th, the SSA is officially phasing out most paper checks. That means unless you qualify for an exception, your benefits will need to come through direct deposit or the government-backed Direct Express debit card. The reasoning behind this is pretty clear. Paper checks are 16 times more likely to be lost, stolen, or tampered with compared to electronic payments. And the cost of keeping the paper check system alive runs into the hundreds of millions of dollars every year. By contrast, electronic payments are safer, faster, and only cost pennies to process. But while that might sound like a win all around, it's not quite that simple. Even though fewer than 1% of beneficiaries still receive paper checks, that still adds up to more than 500,000 households. And many of those are people in their 80s or 90s, folks living in rural areas without good access to banks, or individuals coping with health conditions that make using new technology difficult. After strong pushback from lawmakers and advocates, the SSA has carved out exceptions. People over 90, those with certain cognitive impairments, or individuals who simply don't have access to practical banking will still be allowed to receive paper checks. If you think you might qualify, the SSA has set up a dedicated waiver line to handle those requests. Their official message is, no one will be left behind. But for many people, making the switch to a debit card or online portal is still going to be a tough transition. Alongside these changes, the SSA is promoting improvements in customer service. Officials say phone wait times, which averaged nearly 30 minutes in 2024, are now down to just under 10 minutes. In-office visits are also moving faster, with average waits now about 6 minutes. And the online My Social Security portal is supposed to be running smoothly 24/7 with fewer outages than before. About 90% of calls are now being handled through automated systems or scheduled callbacks. That sounds great, but some advocacy groups argue that the numbers might be a little too rosy. For example, if you request a callback and wait for an hour, much of that time doesn't get counted in the official statistics. And if you're stuck in an automated loop without ever speaking to a person, your case might be marked as resolved even though nothing was actually fixed. So while the SSA is clearly pushing toward a digital-first future, the reality of the experience still depends a lot on who you are and what you need help with. Simple requests like checking your benefit amount might be easy online, but complicated cases like appealing an overpayment or changing your name can still take time and patience. Speaking of overpayments, this is one of the biggest sources of stress right now. Starting this year, the SSA can withhold up to 50% of your monthly benefit to recover money they say was overpaid. That's actually less harsh than in rare cases where they used to take 100%. But losing half your check is still devastating for many families. And what makes it worse is that these overpayments often aren't your fault. They can come from agency mistakes, outdated information, or misunderstandings about income. I've already heard from people getting letters demanding tens of thousands of dollars back, money they simply don't have. If this happens to you, don't ignore it. You do have rights. You can appeal, request a waiver, or set up a repayment plan. If you can show financial hardship, the SSA may lower how much they take each month. But the key is to act fast, because the clock starts ticking the moment that letter arrives. Now let's talk about the bigger picture, the future of the program itself. The 2025 Trustees Report projects that the combined trust funds will run out in 2034. That's 1 year sooner than previously expected. To be clear, that doesn't mean Social Security is going bankrupt. What it does mean is that without action from Congress, the program would only be able to pay about 81% of scheduled benefits through payroll taxes. In plain English, that would translate to a 19% cut across the board. Politicians disagree on how to fix it. Some say raise taxes, others suggest raising the retirement age, and still others argue for a mix of solutions. But one thing is obvious: without some kind of long-term fix, everyone who relies on Social Security will feel the impact. There is some good news though. The repeal of the windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset has now taken full effect. That means public sector workers, teachers, firefighters, police officers, and others are finally able to collect their full Social Security benefits without the old penalties. More than 3 million people are impacted by this change, and over $17 billion has already gone out in retroactive payments. For a lot of families, that money has been life-changing. On top of that, the big beautiful bill passed earlier this year included a new $6,000 tax deduction for eligible seniors that will run through 2029. It's not automatic, so you'll need to claim it when you file, but it could mean a lower tax bill for many retirees. When it comes to planning retirement, it's still worth remembering how much timing matters. The average retirement benefit right now is just over $2,020 a month, while SSI averages about $718. If you retire early at 62, the maximum benefit is around $2,831. Wait until full retirement age at 67, and that goes up to about $4,018. And if you delay until 70, you could see as much as $5,180 a month. For the average retiree, that works out to about $55 more per month. But keep in mind, Medicare Part B premiums are also expected to rise, which could cancel out a good portion of that increase. So with all that in mind, here's your September checklist. First, mark your exact payment date on your calendar, especially if you're juggling bills around your deposit. Second, if you're still receiving paper checks, make the switch to direct deposit or direct express before September 30th, unless you qualify for an exception. Third, if you get an overpayment letter, don't delay, respond right away to protect your income. And finally, use the online tools when you can, but know that you might still need to push for human help if your case is complicated. And I'd love to hear from you. Have you had any surprises with your Social Security payments lately? Maybe a letter you didn't expect, a delay, or an issue with the online system? Share your experience in the comments. Your story could help someone else out there who's facing the same thing. If this video helped you, please give it a like so more people can find it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a good time. I'll walk you through the next updates as soon as they're out.